Have you ever seen something so strange in a K-drama episode you thought to yourself, how could they have possibly let this air? Well, some shows have had moments so shocking or problematic they almost ruined the entire series. Let's dive into the episodes that made us all do a double take. A great example of a K-drama scene stirring up controversy is a specific moment in episode 3 of Queen of Tears. This episode shocked viewers with a scene that many found offensive and completely out of place. In the scene, Haeun's brother, Suchol, talks about his time in Africa, painting it in a way that felt incredibly disrespectful. He describes the continent as if it's nothing more than a wild, dangerous place, and even his father chimes in with comments that seem to belittle the entire experience. The problem wasn't just the remarks themselves, it was how they ignored the rich and diverse cultures, landscapes, and histories that make up Africa. Viewers called out the show for falling into outdated stereotypes that have been seen too often in Korean media. This wasn't just a bad scene, it became a painful reminder of how these portrayals continue to show up in films and dramas, disappointing fans who expect better. It's safe to say this unfortunate moment continued to haunt the show for the rest of its run. Unfortunately, that wasn't the only problematic episode that almost ruined Queen of Tears. Episode 4 stirred up even more backlash, this time for a seemingly minor detail that became a major issue. In one scene, the male lead, Baek Hyun-woo, is shown drinking from a Starbucks cup. While it might seem harmless at first, many viewers were quick to point out that the coffee chain has been the focus of numerous global controversies and is currently facing a widespread boycott. Including this detail felt tone-deaf and careless, adding fuel to the growing fire of criticism surrounding the show. With controversies piling up from episodes 3 and 4, fans became more and more frustrated with the show. What started as a promising drama began to lose its charm, with many even calling the plot boring and nonsensical. Some even labeled it the worst work of famous scriptwriter Park Ji-eun. These rocky episodes only gave critics more reason to turn against the show, and by the time the finale aired, audiences were already heavily divided. Next up is the very first episode of Snowdrop. This drama had a rough journey from beginning to end, not just because of its controversial content, but also due to the tragic loss of 2 cast members, which cast a heavy shadow over the series. While the heartbreaking news of these losses sparked an outpouring of online reactions, the drama was already under fire from the moment it premiered. When episode 1 aired, viewers wasted no time taking to the internet to voice their concerns, and let's just say they had plenty to complain about. The controversy centered around how badly the show portrayed South Korea's pro-democracy movement, a deeply sensitive and historically significant topic. One of the most criticized moments involved the male lead, a North Korean spy, being rescued by the female protagonist, Young Ro, after she mistakes him for a pro-democracy activist. Many saw this as an attempt to blur the lines between the oppressors and the activists who fought for South Korea's democracy, a move that felt deeply disrespectful to those who had suffered and sacrificed during this time. That wasn't the only scene that caused problems. There was also another one, a chase sequence between a North Korean spy and a member of the Agency for National Security Planning, during which a song symbolic of the pro-democracy movement played in the background. For many, this use of such a historically important piece of music felt tone-deaf and even offensive, as it seemed to trivialize the struggles of an important moment in Korean history. Unfortunately, this episode left a sour taste in the mouths of a lot of viewers, so much so that online petitions demanding the cancellation of the show were created. These petitions gained tens of thousands of signatures, with one petition on the Blue House website even gathering over 200,000 supporters. The criticism didn't just stop at words, it had real-world consequences for the show. Sponsors began pulling out, including major names like Sarijai, a rice cake company, and Hungil Furniture. A representative for Sarijai admitted that after watching the first episode, they understood why viewers were upset and quickly decided to cut ties with the drama. Other sponsors like P&J Group also distanced themselves, stating they were unaware of the show's content when they initially agreed to sponsor it. The backlash against Snowdrop became so intense that JTBC, the network behind the drama, was forced to issue an official statement addressing the controversy. In their response, JTBC described the accusations of history distortion as misunderstandings and promised viewers that these concerns would be resolved as the story progressed. The network explained that the drama was not intended to disrespect South Korea's pro-democracy movement, but instead aimed to highlight the dangers of oppressive power and the value of individual freedom and happiness. While they couldn't reveal specific details about the plot, JTBC assured viewers that the drama's storyline would make its intentions clear in upcoming episodes. They also emphasized that although Although Snowdrop is set during the turbulent era of a military regime, the characters and events surrounding themes like the party in power clashing with the North Korean government were entirely fictional. This clarification was meant to distance the show from the real historical events it was accused of misrepresenting. Despite the network's attempt to calm the situation, the controversy wasn't forgotten easily. Many viewers felt the explanation fell short of addressing their concerns, and the damage to the drama's reputation had already been done. Another drama that found itself under fire for including a culturally insensitive episode is Chicken Nugget. While the series had already been criticized for its nonsensical and overly chaotic plot, the most controversial moment came in its final episode, sparking outrage among viewers from the Middle East. In this scene, one of the main characters, a world-famous singer, is preparing for a global tour. The drama takes a dramatic turn when the Saudi crown prince personally requests tickets to the singer's concert. However, his request is initially denied, and when the tickets are finally granted, they're for back row seats. This decision was meant to be comedic, but instead, it deeply offended many viewers from Saudi Arabia and the broader Middle Eastern audience who felt it was a sign of disrespect toward their royal family. To say some international viewers were unhappy is an understatement. Middle Eastern fans took to online platforms, review bombing the series with 1-star ratings and voicing their frustration over what they saw as a careless portrayal of cultural sensitivities. Social media got bombarded with criticism, with many questioning why the writers and production team hadn't considered the potential chaos that would erupt from such a scene. In response, the production team of Chicken Nugget issued a statement defending the series. They claimed the show was never meant to be taken seriously and that its absurd tone was part of its identity. Unfortunately, this explanation did little to calm down upset fans, and the controversy only added to the growing list of problems that had plagued the drama from the start. Now on to one of the most problematic episodes of this year, the finale of When the Phone Rings. While fans around the world eagerly awaited the last episode of this popular NBC drama, the finale unleashed a storm of controversy due to one specific scene that viewers found deeply troubling. The controversy began with a news segment in the episode where the character Na Yu-ri, played by Jang Gyuri, reports on South Korean nationals being abducted in the middle of an ongoing conflict. The problem was the English subtitles, which named the countries in question Palestina and Ismail, but viewers immediately recognized these as clear references to Palestine and Israel. The subtitles suggested that Palestina was launching airstrikes on Ismail and that Korean citizens were taken hostage by Palestina's militants. This portrayal enraged viewers, as it seemed to completely reverse the real-world situation in the Middle East. Viewers were quick to voice their disgust on the internet, accusing NBC of spreading harmful propaganda and trivializing an ongoing humanitarian crisis by using it as a plot device. Fans even noticed that the original web novel on which the drama is based did not include this subplot at all, raising questions about why it was added. Calls for accountability quickly followed, with viewers demanding apologies from the show's creators, including director Park Sang-woo, executive producer Kwon Sung-chang, and screenwriter Kim Ji-woon. Some even urged NBC to remove the controversial scene entirely. The scandal took a surprising turn when some viewers pointed out that the issue may have originated from Netflix's English subtitles, not the show's original Korean script. In the Korean dialogue, Ismail, not Palestina, is portrayed as the aggressor. Visual elements in the scene, such as a map showing airstrikes originating from Ismail to Palestina and a news banner indicating that Koreans were abducted by Ismail's armed forces, further supported this interpretation. Despite these clarifications, the damage was already done. Many fans remained angry, now shifting their frustration toward Netflix for what they saw as a careless and dangerous translation error. Neither NBC nor Netflix has released an official statement addressing the controversy, leaving viewers frustrated and awaiting accountability. Last up is the second episode of Queen Wu, which was loved by international audiences but absolutely hated by domestic viewers. At the heart of the controversy was a sapphic skinship scene that many K-nets found shocking, uncomfortable, and completely out of place in a historical drama focused on female empowerment. The scene in question involves Queen Wu's sister, Woo-sun, played by Yumi, and the shaman Sabi, portrayed by Oh Han-hee. Under the influence of a love potion, Woo-sun mistakenly believes she has fallen for Go-namu, played by Ji Chang-wook. However, in her disoriented state, she ends up engaging in an inappropriate encounter with Sabi. Lasting nearly 2 minutes, this graphic bed scene caught viewers off guard and quickly became the most most talked about moment of the episode for all the wrong reasons. In South Korea, queer representation in mainstream dramas remains a highly sensitive and often stigmatized topic. While LGBTQ+ themes have started to gain acceptance in indie films and certain web series, bold queer skinship scenes in mainstream television dramas are still rare and often handled with great caution. The scene in Queen Wu was seen by many as exploitative, using shock value to grab attention rather than to provide meaningful representation or advance the story. Netizens criticized the scene as unnecessary and argued that it derailed the focus of the show, which had been marketed as a story of historical intrigue and women's strength. What made the scene even more controversial was the context in which it happened. With Woo-sun under the influence of a potion, many viewers felt the encounter crossed the line into coercion, adding an unsettling dynamic that only intensified the backlash.